Some movies are such that you can just turn off your brain and enjoy them. Some movies are like the ending of Evangelion, in that you don't know what it means and you can never figure it out. Congratulations if you do. And some are just so that you can almost comprehend what's going on, and all you need is an explanation as to what is going on. When something is missing, you sometimes don't quite know what it is that you no longer have. A greeting from an acquaintance that you unknowingly look forward to. The particular taste of a low-quality food, which is not good, but rather familiar. Or the sound of rain, pitter-pattering on your roof, lulling you to the edge of sleep on a cold but comfortable night, aided by the warmth of a blanket. The deeper meaning of some stories can be obtuse as to its meaning, the unknowing silence that rings in the background, piercing greater than ever before, only known to you now that it is mentioned, and the only thing keeping you from death is a certain time and place. Just the other day, maybe it was yesterday, maybe it was tomorrow, I woke up for the second time that morning, and not by one of my alarms. I was drowsy and thought to return to my slumber, but as I looked forward I noticed a creature, caked in darkness, hiding under my Costco gaming chair, further obscuring itself from my view by positioning itself near my miniature fridge that I have in my room for some inexplicable reason. Upon more staring, I had construed it to be a Doberman with a snout of darkness instead of brownness. Fear enveloped me as I wanted to rouse myself to gain a better view of the creature, but I could not. My head was unmoving. No matter how hard I tried, I could not lift nor turn it. So then I moved onto my arms. Perhaps they could save me from my ailment. I gave them the command to lift my head, and I felt them move, as though they had taken action, but my head still lay there, unmoving. They had betrayed me, my own hands. They, too, lay unmoving. Now things were intense. I, an unwilling soul, trapped unmoving as a creature stared at me, just barely in sight. I lay there, gathering stress and fear for many minutes, hoping nothing comes of this creature staring at me. No, into me. It is then that a great sound roars next to me, galvanizing me. I shoot forth upright to see the creature is gone from beneath where it had hid. What had gone on? What had just happened? What is it that afflicts me, that hunts me? It is then that I came to realize what had just happened. God! I was in the middle of doing something! Oh well. Hey all, Evan here. And yet again, in recent times, I have watched yet another film. Again! This time, it was the lifetime of an irrational mathematical concept. Within this movie, there are great amounts of symbolism, so much so that it confuses the crap out of you. It is also full of strange concepts too, all of which are built up to put you into a magical place when watching the movie. It also plays with the concept of truth in its end, which is pretty wacky to think about. Perception and reality are usually pretty close to each other, but sometimes things can get weird. The story told through the movie is presented as reality up until the very last moments in which an alternate reality is present and the question is asked, which do you believe? That is an interesting thing to present because it calls into question the entire reality we have just been presented with. Speaking of which, I should tell you that the purple guy, not William Afton, but the antagonist in my canon, has recently acquired the power possessed by a psychic punch ghost with a name scheme derived from the album The Court of the Crimson King, so that I should probably begin to explain that. To begin, his power, the result is very confusing if you don't know what's happening already, because you think it's already happened, but the only result remains. So if I would end up looking like an idiot, just holding a ball, because it never leaves my hand. Anywho, now that that's been explained, I can move on to the significance of stories and the suspension of disbelief. If we take me, for example, there are two possibilities. The first is that which is presented. I am a being only visible during these moments of talking, who chooses to extend his existence by talking a lot, and is terrorized by a man in a purple suit who consistently is a villain, or option two, the logical truth, that none, but which is the better option to believe? Which of the two options makes a better story? This movie makes great use of magical realism. Not quite explaining what's going on, but it sort of makes sense, kind of like the guy slowly turning insane. The characterization of the characters is wonderful. Especially the father, who isn't just an anti-faith hooligan. There's also this moment where Pi has to go against his philosophies and kill a fish, namely the Mahi-Mati, which, side tangent, but anyways, he has to kill it, and when it dies, it changes color, deepening the meaning of his betrayal of his philosophy by making it look like the fish's soul is leaving the fish. Sometimes meaning is hidden behind symbolism of stories, and what truly happened is still up for debate. Unless you ask the creator, then the meaning is exactly known. But, in the words of Rick Sanchez that I did not fully listen to, there's not enough room for all of my genius. It comes in threes. Ah! Gah!